Low 15.
Would you expect a lot of long points, Vic?
Well, Jimmy doesn't like to let anything go too long because he doesn't like to run that much. He'll take the ball on the rise, and when you take the ball on the rise, you reduce your opponent's time by 50%. Your ball doesn't go much faster, but it's a time reduction thing, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Mott's a look at the line. I think he thought it was long.
15-0.
Actually skidded, so when it skids like that, it's got part of that line. Jimmy can't afford to get into a long, long rally because you're giving up that many years.
Wilander to the net successfully.
15-30.
Well, as you watch Mott go to the net, you realize that the guy can really play. He's won some fine doubles titles, 7 major doubles titles. That means he's not afraid to go in. You'll want to do that against Jimmy if he has him off balance. Great serve.
30-0.
Another look.
In the old days, I never saw this because, as Jimmy said, in 1991 he made changes on his throwing toss. And what his toss is a little different. He pulls his body back a little bit. He coils with his body before he throws.
Good.
And this is what Jimmy's going to have to do when Mott's Wilander, because he hits so much with so much topspin. If he gets a short ball, Jimmy's got to take it on the rise, reduce Mott's time by 50%, hit the short angle while its ball is a little bit higher. I think you'll see Jimmy doing a lot of that, and you'll see Mott's trying to keep the ball deeper so that Jimmy can't do that. And in answer to your original question, Mike, yeah, I see a lot of long points, which will not be in Jimmy's best interest.
The tape is kind to Jimmy Connors here in the first game and brings a smile to his face. It may indeed be a long afternoon for Jimmy, but he's up 1-love here afternoon here in the finals of the BTI champions. Glad you could join us. Mike Gorman along with Vic Braden.
Mott does not have an overpowering serve, so Jimmy will be able to do some things with it from time to time.
Nicely played.
Yeah, pretty smart. Pretty smart.
15.
And I got to tell you, he's working on Jimmy very, very early. Jimmy said, though, that his style, his physiology is such that he gets tired very quickly, and all of a sudden he starts getting some oxygen, and it's pretty typical. Physiologists have a word for that. I don't exactly remember, but the heart starts off pounding and then suddenly develops a rhythm.
15.
Oh, that serve was coming in there in the 70s. I would expect Jimmy to be all over that. As my old pal Cliff Drysdale, Silk, used to say, like a wet blanket. Look at that. What's going on here? Last night he was serving close to 100 on the first serve.
30-15.
Connors looking for the winner down the line and missing long.
Watts doesn't look like he's doing anything until you see him take the check.
Jimmy just owns the tape so far here today.
30.
Yesterday we had a clinic here, and part of the idea was to show people that some of the top players will hit 6, 7, 8 feet over the net. Mats Wilander is a perfect example. Bjorn Borg, a perfect example. So all this stuff of having to hit those hard, low drives, that's not necessary to become a great player. You'll watch Mats, especially on the forehand, very often it'll be 8 feet above the net.
Jimmy on a couple of occasions was looking to put an end to that rally.
Yeah, but he played it well. Jimmy played it very well. He had the shot. He knows he shouldn't have missed it. He had complete control over the ball, but he took it cross court, went down the line, and all you need is to be 1 degree off in your history.
Hit a flat shot?
No, not on the forehand side. He has big topspin. He doesn't hit it flat.
1 game home.
Now that's a little message to Jimmy saying, hey, buddy, no, you come in. That's what you're going to get.
George area, but it has all cleared out and burned off. And it's hot right now. It has to be in the mid to upper 80s. Well, you're right on that just about everything the Mats hits comes over that net with plenty to spare.
He doesn't make a lot of errors. You know, he just makes one every other Tuesday. You know, and as you watch him, he just keeps the ball in play. But he's in such great shape. You know, it looks like he could run forever. Jimmy giving up all those years. Mott's big thing is to get Jimmy tired. Jimmy going through adjusting his shirt, but what he's really doing is grasping for air. He's stalling that point. Jimmy knows how to knock 30 seconds into about 2 minutes.
Net.
Good.
That is a beautiful drop shot. You normally try that when you're inside the line. These players are playing awfully smart and cautious tennis, not taking many chances. But watch Jimmy. Gets the ball, he steps in a little bit. It's a little easier to hit that drop shot. Jimmy's shoulders starting to rise. He does that when he's pretty pooped. Just marvel at Jimmy. Go anywhere to watch him play. I've said that 1,000 times, but
I gotta make a move up, not
see if he can milk him and get a little bit more oxygen. He loves it.
30-15.
It's been 10 years since these two played, the 1988 Lipton. Last time they met. Mats was just 24 years old at the time.
Well, I got to tell you, Mike, the last time I did Mats Wilander's match, Davis Cup, St. Louis, match lasted 6 hours and I think 10 minutes. It's the longest match in the history of the game.
That won't happen today.
I remember telling the guys in the booth, this is going to be a long match. They shut my mic off because McEnroe was beating Wilander pretty easily. And they said, geez, are you on the sauce? You lost it or something? I said, no, I can see that Mats is starting to play. It's going to be a long match. When Mats is playing well, it's a long match with anybody.
40-30.
Wilander's 17 years, 9 months old when he won his first Grand Slam event, the 1982 French Open.
Ooh, that looked like it skidded off the line there.
A lot of underspin backhands from Mats Wilander here today. Jimmy Connors able to hold serve. We are on serve here for a set. Jimmy Connors at Mats Wilander, 2-1 Connors. Both players taking their time in the heat.
It's been reported that Jimmy Connors was Wilander's hero and idol. And everybody thought it would be Bjorn Borg, his teammate from Sweden. Look out. But Jimmy's got to do that, I think. Otherwise, he's going to go down to about 120 pounds at the end of the day. He's in for a tough match. He's got to take his opportunity to come in. I think you're going to see Mats come in a little bit more, unless he's pretty sure Jimmy's getting tired.
15-all.
Second double fault for Wilander.
When Wilander played Borg, you had to set up a tent because the match just never ended. The two guys throwing the ball up and back. You could go out for a drink and come back and they're on the same point. Oh no, Jimmy. 0 for 2 on the volley there. That's not in Jimmy's best interest. It's not typical Jimmy either. He doesn't play with a lot of touch shots. He usually beats you just with crisp, clean shots. He had his play there. He just needed to play it to the corner. Softened it. 2 mental errors so far I've seen from Jimmy, which you don't normally see, but mark of a great champion is he knows how to overcome it.
40-15.
33 singles titles during Motz's ATP career.
Boy, that serve. Seems to me that if he keeps that up, Jimmy's going to be on top of that thing.
40-30.
Looking into the sun, but on the other side of the coin, the racket is traveling very slowly.
Connor's got the lines on both sides. Deuce.
It was a beautiful shot, Jimmy, coming in. Watch the shot coming into this corner. A little underspin. It looked like it was going to float out, but it's right on there.
And Jimmy Connors now with the first break point of the match. Boy, Mott's really struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, he's struggling. Right. Very tight.
Wilander misses wide, and so the first service break is to Jimmy Connors. He's up 3-1 in the first set. Good noon by Jimmy Connors with the service break in the fourth game.
Not sure whether Mott switched rackets or whether they got something to dry his grip off, but he ran, literally ran to the chair while Jimmy was leaning against the wall.
After all that.
That's a big thing about points like that. You work your butt off and you're just struggling, and then you finally get the ball in play, you got position, and you miss a shot, and you usually don't feel too good about it. Neither did he, neither did Connors. He said, come on, give me a break, you toad. Is that an interesting percentage? It's typical for Jimmy, between 72 and 75% first serves. Doesn't hit with, he hits with better speed than before, than when he was in the open. But he still has a lot of topspin on it, so he has a lot of clearance at the net. Good percentage, smart play. Well, he didn't, Connors had a far less angle to hit with, because a lot of times people say, well, you hit down in the middle like that, it's a pretty easy shot, but actually it's a hard shot because you don't have the normal 13.5 degrees to hit with. You only got just a couple of degrees of latitude, and Jimmy threaded the needle beautifully. Against some players, going down the middle is actually a better shot to attack him, but it was a little too short. Well, I hope every junior in the world is watching this, though, to show that you don't have to knock the wool off the ball to be a great player. You can keep it in play, but pinpoint accuracy is, and precision, so much more important than speed, in my opinion. Jimmy walking in circles, he's a little juiced. I don't think Mats is not looking at that either. Jimmy needed that. He needed to get to the net and put that ball away. That's a really important point. I mean, from my perspective as a coach, a lot of people stay back, but a great champion says, come on, get back in. You know when you have to go. Jimmy, being a great champion, gets right back in. He's got to raise his confidence that he can get in, because he's not going to be able to stay out on that court for 3 hours with Mats Wilander. He won't be 46. He'll be 106 in about 2 hours. And when you're 106 and you're in fairly good shape, it's not good enough. There he came.
Wilander missing long.
40-30.
That time I don't think Jimmy came in on the shot that he wanted, but still he came in. Smart move. Got the point he wanted. There's a hard hit from Wilander. That was a lower ball, a little bit flatter.
So Jimmy Connors is able to hang on to the service break.
Somebody.
Looks like somebody has passed out, unfortunately, from the heat, and immediately Mats Wilander over to help out. And Jimmy Connors up at the center court right now, getting some water quickly on a towel. Again, we mentioned it got very, very hot here in Atlanta today after about 3 or 4 days of relatively cool weather, and we'll be checking on the condition of one of the Lions persons. More from the BTI champions right after this. And just moments ago, that young ball boy who fainted, and hopefully nothing more than a case of someone not eating anything before they came out here. We were assured that he was okay, but they were just taking every precaution and taking him out in a stretcher. But he was conscious, and probably more embarrassed than anything else.
Well, Mats is saying, I got to do something. He threw in a much harder serve. So that's the first time we've seen that flat serve. And then he decided to come in. He's going to attack more, but he got past. Typical Connors passing shot.
No! 15-30.
It's a big jump at love 30, and then Jimmy had his play into the corner. When Jimmy misses, he doesn't miss by much, but he just keeps coming at you.
30 all.
Wilander back to 30 all.
Well, we said it a few times, when you're down above 30 on your serve in pro tennis, it's pretty even. 15-40 is actually an even game. Statistics will show.
Ah! 40-30.
Jimmy disappointed, and rightfully so. Took the racket out of this young girl. Wants to keep the ball.
Mark McGuire.
World Series stuff.
Oh, and the lob is good.
Didn't he dust the line on that?
He sure did.
He dusted. Now take a look at those two errors that Jimmy made. That's why Jimmy hit that ball in the stands, because now all of a sudden he had a chance to go up 5-1. His 30 love 30 on Wilander's serve. Jimmy made two errors that are atypical. All of a sudden the match turns around. Just got to break Jimmy one time now. Boy, does that change the mental picture. A lot of hard work, Mike. It's going to be a tough day again. We've talked about it before, but most physiologists have measured matches like this on a hot day, and so many of the tennis players can lose between 8 and 11 pounds of water. So they've got to continue to drink water all the time. If they get behind drinking, they can't catch up and they hit the wall.
Jimmy has already won 4 titles this year on the New League Tour.
Jimmy lost his footwork, and when Jimmy loses his footwork on that 200 backhand side, a lot of things can happen. But when he's set, he's elegant. In my opinion, it's very difficult for me in all the years I've been involved with pro tennis to think of people who had a 200 backhand that was as severe as his, as steady and reliable and punishing. Although Bobby Riggs and Jack Kramer had an argument a few years back. Bobby said if he had to do it over again, he would learn to play 2 hands on the backhand side. Kramer felt that 2 hands would be a weakness. The big advantage on a 200 backhand side is that a guy can hit the high service return well. Nobody does it better than Jimmy, in my opinion. One-hander has to really have very strong forearm extensor muscles to hit that shot. They usually will chip it on the high backhand rather than try to hit flat. value of depth. Jimmy didn't get back in position, took the ball on a half volley at the baseline. Now it's back to deuce. 2 points away from Wilander being back on serve. That's what Mats does. It doesn't look like he's doing anything big, but he seems to be in there all the time. Nice play, Jimmy. There's a class act. 30 all. He sees himself at the baseline. He's starting to lose some points. Gets in on top. He's missed a couple of easy volleys, but he's made 3 in a row now up at the net. Boy, is that major.
Nail that one.
And it was tough. That's not an easy volley to make. But notice he didn't try a little stop volley. He hit it with some sauce. Hasn't been a player that I know of who has a style like Jimmy Connors. Keep thinking back, but I've never seen a player hit like him.
Game Connors.
Connors was able to catch the line and capture the game. It's 5-2 Connors.
Ooh, look out. Connor's going to give him the point, I guarantee you. Even though they called it a fault, Jimmy says, no way. That's class. Jimmy feels pretty strongly about that. That if a player sees it, they should give the person the point. Mott's putting some more sauce on the serve.
Again, Jimmy successful coming to the net to 15 all.
That's what he's going to have to do to put Mats away, because he's not going to stay back from the baseline. Watch Jimmy. Gets Mats with his legs crossed, so he's got the opening. When a player's in that position, he's vulnerable. Come in, take the ball at midcourt. A little intimidation. Matt's a little disgusted with himself right now with that serve.
4 double faults here in the first set.
And it's the way he double faulted. 70 some miles per hour on the serve, bro. Jimmy had to play. But Jimmy goes for such great depth, and so when he misses, he doesn't miss by a lot. But it's just amazing to me that somebody can play the ball that close to the line. But he knows that it was a big point.
What? 34.
Big time. Well, so Mott's vulnerable. Jimmy's going to keep him a little loose on that serve.
Break point, set point for Jimmy Connors.
Oh. Oh. Jimmy said, where are those lead balls now, baby? I could really use a couple of those. Nice shot, Jimmy. Double back. You know, if you're a fan out there, a great way to learn how to play this game is that you watch the replay. Is focus on one player only for a few points. Watch how they move, watch how they anticipate, watch how they change their grip, watch where they move after they hit a particular shot. You will learn so much from a telecast following one player.
And Jimmy Connors with the passing shot, and Jimmy Connors a convincing first set. It goes to Connors, 6-2. So Jimmy Connors, with a break in the fourth game of the first set, is able to hang on and win.
Wait till I'm 46. I'm going to beat your butt.
I'll get you last.
Get you before I pass out. That's great. The ball jumped at Jimmy. He wasn't ready for it. When a player who hits with two hands are not ready, they're in a little trouble because the feet become stabilizers for the upper body to turn. And if the feet were off the ground, as you saw, Jimmy had to jump on that shot. Now he loses control of the upper body. There's a big myth out there about two-handed backhand not having the reach that a one-handed backhand player has, but actually that's a myth. The two-handed backhand hitter actually has about 5-6 inches longer in reach at the hitting point if they're hitting in position. They just don't have the reach when it's way out in front of them with two hands and low. Let's get it.
Jimmy Connors wisely letting that one go, and it went long.
I thought it was going to fall in.
I did too.
The last second. Jimmy played it well. A brilliant player. His forehand is so compact. He doesn't do it with his forearm. He uncoils his body and his racket all in one.
Jimmy did a lot of running on that point, didn't he?
And you see, Mats picked up the speed a little bit. He laid into the forehand a little bit. And I think you're going to see that. I said that before. As you watch this beautiful lob, it falls right on the line. Mats played it well, but on the very next shot, Mats put some real sauce into this forehand. Got Jimmy on the run. Now down the line. Jimmy is in a very vulnerable position there. He can't get his feet positioned. Hits the ball in the net.
Connors, a 5-time U.S. Open champion.
Mats doesn't hurt you on the backhand side. He either chips the ball, keeps it very low, tries to Jimmy's forehand, which is the way Arthur Ashe played Jimmy at Wimbledon to finally beat Jimmy, playing it low and making Jimmy stretch low on the forehand side. Then when he hits a topspin backhand or flat, no ball is completely flat, but he hits it a little higher, a little topspin, about 5-6 feet over the net. So he's got some variety, but he doesn't hit the ball as hard as Jimmy. As a result, Jimmy can play nearly every point off of Mats's backhand side.
Mats was waiting for that call.
Against Jimmy, you take anything you can.
Wilander, the first Swede to ever win the U.S. Open. Probably Bjorn Borg would be most people's guess, but that one eluded Bjorn.
Mats came on the scene so suddenly, you know, right out of the juniors. And bingo, he's a big-time player.
That match is coming.
Well, there's what I think Jimmy has really added to his repertoire. So he said 1991 he changed. He developed a toss where he pulls his body back a little bit and he delays the toss with his hand. If you'll see, he used to throw the ball straight out in front of him. Now if you take it and a little bit behind him, now look at, you'll see his hand go back like a base taking the ball out of a glove.
Tough indeed. First set victory. And if you want to check out all the information on the Nuveen Tour, it's easy to do. www.nuveentour.com. You can find out everything about the Nuveen Tour, and Mindspring, the official internet service provider and web host of the Nuveen Tour, was designed with you in mind. The call is long, and while we're talking about computers, don't forget my partner Vic Braden at vicbraden.com. You can email Vic directly with thoughts, comments, questions about the broadcast, about tennis in general. Check out Vic's website, and I think you'll be back there more than once. vicbraden.com.
You know, the players or the fans ask some very intelligent questions. I've been quite impressed with what they've asked about the Nuveen Tour. What I like about the Nuveen Tour site, too, though, if you have a particular player, they have illustrated each player, a nice profile on each player. So if you're looking for some data and background on each player, you can get to my site through Nuveen, or you can get to Nuveen through my site.
And if you say anything about me, Vic will send it to me, right? Well, a huge opening here for Jimmy Connors. 3 break points in the second game of this second set.
Oh, 15.
1 gone. Jimmy has won 31 senior events, as I mentioned, for this year.
Game coming.
And he's looking pretty good for number 5 here, as Jimmy Connors has broken Mats Wilander in the second game of this second set and is up 2 love. Well, Vic, you and I both thought that Mats Wilander was going to put a real challenge up to Jimmy Connors here this afternoon. Not so far.
Just remember that 6-hour and 10-minute match, would you, buddy?
You start to see those signs, you let me know, okay?
Players will tell you, how can we tell Jimmy Connors' story? How he's so tough and he pinpoints everything. He moves you corner to corner. Just when you hit a good shot, he comes back with a better shot. But it's hard to tell the people, without feeling like you're massaging this thing, how good the guy really is. That's a tough shot, for instance. Kept the ball low. Mott's legs are crossed. He hits behind Mott. Mott's done. He's got to have a lot of strength. He can't. He had to hit it with one hand. His two-hander didn't even work. right, so who's aged more gracefully? Jimmy at 46. He's hit 4 passing shots down the line. Made it look pretty easy. Still say Jimmy's fighting for a little oxygen.
Wilander with his head in his hands up the other end, as he can't believe that he missed that shot.
Well, he hasn't.
Or maybe he
played.
can't believe that he took that shot.
Well, he's trying everything, but he did hit the shot to make Jimmy go 9 to 11 steps from that position. So if you're going to do it, that's the time to do it. But Motts right now is trying to figure out how he can get back into this thing. Jimmy is controlling him on passing shots. Jimmy's hit won the last 4 out of 4 volleys. So basically, he's just beating Motts. Motts doesn't make many mistakes, but if you remember when the stats came up, 9 winners for Connors, 2 for Wilander.
One floats long. Game to Connors, so Jimmy Connors rolls along here. He won the first set 6-2. He is up a break and leads at 3-love here in the second set.
He's mad. He threw that thing in about 30 miles an hour faster than he'd hit any other serves. We kept waiting for him to break loose, to hit a little bit harder. And he'd start it for 2 or 3 points and cut back again. Look at that. That's it. My wife can hit that serve. That is not. There he goes. Great volley. That is tough. Jimmy hit a wonderful return. Low. Motts is spread out a little bit. He's moving to the left. Get a chance to watch Motts. Watch this. Watch the low volley. It's nice. Hit it well. There he goes again. Ah, now Motts says, maybe I got a formula here.
At least on my serve, but he has to break back here to stay alive.
But you know, when you got to know when to put plan 2 into effect. And plan 2 is don't do what you've been doing. Jack Kramer always gave me some pretty basic strategy. Stay with your strength if you're winning. If you're losing, you got to make your opponent hit shots they don't like to hit. Pretty standard formula. Problem is, you got to be able to control the ball to make Connors hit the shots he doesn't like to hit, which is normally a low forehand. Jimmy had it. Well, Bruce Elliott in Australia did a wonderful study showing exactly what's happening with Motts Wilander. Motts Wilander, his upper arm is a little bit stiff right now. That upper arm, you see him trying to work it out. The elbow to the shoulder is 52% of the power. He's got to keep it loose. Got to have some internal rotation on that. Very loose link, and he's a little tight on that.
Jimmy Connors spent the better part of 5 years ranked #1 in the world. And it looked like Matsu ran out of gas more than Jimmy there.
And actually, Mats looked like he slipped a bit. We get a chance to take a look and see it. I guess just slightly out of range, but it looked like he stumbled a little bit. Anybody's going to stumble trying to track that down. Jimmy's into that 10 bounce thing. He's trying to get a little bit more time.
30-15.
Pretty good punch on that one from Mats. Hit the ball well. That would have been a tough shot. Overplayed it. But he hit it with a little authority. Didn't come in with a soft pace. That short angle is so
Sure was.
tough. It's from a high position, so difficult to hit. But a two-hander usually can do it better than a one-hander. $40-15 for Jimmy. A big game to go up 4-1. Because Jimmy's no lock on holding the serve. If Mats decided to go for broke and just ladle that thing. But Jimmy's serve is always consistent. Does hold him in good stead now, which he says. Look out.
Yeah,
And Jimmy Connors looking for back-to-back wins. Atlanta Athletic Club, just outside Atlanta, Georgia. Cut the line. Matsu Wilander dearly needs to hold serve here. Serving at 4-1. Down and breaking down a set in this BTI Champions Final. Mike Gorman along with Vic Braden. Glad you could join us. And that has been the story all day for Matsu. He has really struggled with his serve. He has 6 double faults so far.
Look at that. Look at that. So tough. That was a call that, if you watch it, went in. And then the score said, love 30. It's really 15 all. Made a correction. Well, they should. Oh my. You're playing better than you played when you're in the juniors. Give me a break. Don't you know I own you? I've won 5 in a row from you. What are you doing out there? Jimmy can play the sharp angles.
Missed that one. 30 all.
Well, Mott's got to come through on this. Let's see if Jimmy is very good at this. He can go to the net. He's not afraid to go. He's not afraid to send you a message. Likes to keep you intimidated if you're off balance, so you think that he's going to come in.
So not happy with the lack of a call there.
Oh, Mott. It's this. What is all this stuff about aging? There's no aging going on here.
Connors a chance to go up 5-1.
And he does.
It is 5-1 Connors, and Jimmy's going to have a chance here to serve for the match.
5-1.
Connors apparently with other plans here, Vic.
Well, Jimmy takes the ball on the rise better than anybody. And again, it reduces Mott's time. So Mott is playing a person who doesn't play way back behind the baseline. So he's going to have to run a little bit more than normal. But he's done it well against Connors, winning 5 in a row. That's a tough shot. I mean, Jimmy playing the ball just above the net. He's hitting an underspin. Ball stays low. Jimmy finding himself in a familiar position. No matter who he plays, he's been in this spot a lot of times. But he plays every ball as though it's the first one ever hit. Seldom does something silly. Someone asked him when he was down match point, what were you thinking of in a previous match, a previous tournament? He said, nothing. Jimmy thought it was going out, but that ball was rotating a lot of plays. I mentioned on a previous telecast here, when you watch Mott hit this ball, he's hitting with great topspin. And the study that Johnny Yandel and NASA and the USTA guys did, showing that the ball, when he hits someone like Mott, is somewhere probably between 3,000 and 5,000 revolutions per second. So he's somewhere between 50, 70, 80 revolutions. That ball is turning over by the time it gets there. But that makes a big arc, like a rainbow. And it looks like it's going out and falls in. There goes Jimmy. Smart play. He knew he had him in a vulnerable position. You know, we did a study once. I saw in this report that they said nobody's ever recorded anybody spin, but we did Ken Rosewall once. The Japanese wanted us to check out Ken Rose's famous underspin backhand. And we did the whole study, spent a lot of money, and he only rotated the ball 12 times. He really didn't have any topspin or much underspin. It was almost flat.
Really?
You know, he didn't have, it looked like that. So perception is one thing. Jimmy looks like he's underspinning an awful lot of his 200 backhand shots, but a lot of them are flat. When I say flat, the ball rotates a little bit.
40-15.
And Jimmy Connors now with a couple of opportunities to make it 2 in a row here on the New Beam Tour. Won the Price Waterhouse Coopers Champions in Irving, Texas over John McEnroe last week.
That's it.
Has just captured the BTI champions here in Atlanta, Georgia this week. Back-to-back wins by Jimmy Connors over John McEnroe and Mats Wilander. You can see the smile on Mats' face as he was just shaking his head as Jimmy Connors continues to clearly establish himself